Yeah. I just think it's funny how it goes.
The Toronto Raptors are headed to their first NBA Finals.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
Welcome to a very special evening in Toronto and a special broadcast live from Global News just outside of Jurassic Park, just outside of Scotiabank Arena, where all of the GTA, all of Canada, is celebrating a win by the Raptors in Game 1. 119-108 over the Golden State Warriors. It was a close game, a thrilling game, but the Raptors brought their best defense, and Pascal Siakam with a playoff career high tonight, absolutely coming alive and lighting it up from beyond the three-point line. Big blocks, big plays. Spicy P doing it for Toronto. And the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, unable to keep the ball rolling. They've always won the first game in their finals every time, but not this time, as the Toronto Raptors shocked the NBA by taking Game 1, and we couldn't be happier. Rob Leth is down there in Jurassic Park amongst the fans. Rob.
Well, Alan, it was just a perfect night for Raptor fans. Perfect weather, perfect atmosphere, partying all day long. Some of the fans lining up for Jurassic Park, get this, were lining up as early as 6:30 a.m. this morning, waiting close to 15 hours before the tip-off of the game here in Jurassic Park. They actually let the fans in about an hour earlier than they said they would, just because of the demand. And the party started right from the opening tip-off. The Raptors led this game most of the way. They had the three-point shooting going early. Marc Gasol had a big first quarter. I think he had 14 points in the first half. And Kawhi Leonard, he's been the star all playoffs long. He didn't have to be the star tonight, as you mentioned. Pascal Siakam with a career high 32 points, and the Raptors win by 9. And the fans just could not contain themselves as soon as this game ended.
Amazing! I am so proud of Canada for finally getting a sports team this far. I am so proud. In my 19 years of life, this is amazing. I am so happy right now.
Words are all words. At the end of the day, the actions speak, and the actions prove that we can compete. A matter of fact, we can win. We can win the NBA Finals, 6-6.
It's unbelievable, the passion in those fans that we got, just the pure unadulterated joy that they were experiencing. It looked like they were going to start crying at some point. They were so happy. There was chanting out here all night long, and just a perfect night for a Raptors team that had struggled mightily in previous series. It seemed like they always lost game 1 of a series with a record of 3-15 in those games. And now on the game's biggest stage, of the first ever game here in Canada for the NBA Finals, they were anything but overwhelmed, matching up against a team that has won 3 of the last 4 titles. And they made it look not easy, but they certainly look comfortable on their home court. And now they have a chance to go up 2-0 in this series, which would be a huge boost of confidence for a team as they head back to Oakland. Alan?
Well, thanks very much, Rob. And really the goal here for the Raptors had to be come away with a split on your home court, especially with the odds so firmly planted against us. But here we come away with the split and a chance to go up 2-0. And what was so amazing about this game is that stingy D by the Raptors that has been really what has kept us in the playoffs all the way along. And it was evident again tonight. Even though Curry was getting his shots, even though Klay Thompson was getting his shots, and by the way, how great was it to see him get teed up near the end of the game? That was a good time. And, as we see the fans here exiting Jurassic Park, this was not the only place where fans were taking in the game. There were other Jurassic Parks all around the GTA. Let's take you to Mississauga, to Jurassic Park West, where 20,000 people, an estimated 20,000 people, showed up at Celebration Square to cheer on the Raptors. And the team had to be hearing those cheers from all the way from the West, right here to Scotiabank, because inside there, it was hopping. And so great to see the Raptors come away with game one. Now, Nick Nurse, we can tell you, just wrapped up his post-game conference. Do I look like Nick Nurse? People tell me I look like Nick Nurse. I said to Nick Nurse, actually now I'm being told that the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr, is talking. Let's go to him now. Steve Kerr.
Playing in mud.
Playing in mud?
Yeah. What do you think contributes just to the overall execution?
Well, their defense was great, and it wasn't our best night, but we just got outplayed. So simple as that. Move on to the next one.
And how's Andre doing?
I think he's doing okay, but we'll have an update tomorrow.
Next question to John in the front row on the right.
John Dickinson, 95.7 The Game. What in particular made Siakam and Gasol so effective against you guys tonight?
Well, Siakam was brilliant. I mean, he was hitting shots from everywhere. He hit 4 threes. He'd been struggling from the three-point line in the last couple of series, so he got that to go. And I think actually I'm wrong on that. He had 2 threes, but. Gasol, we left a couple times early in the game and didn't rotate. We just gave him a couple of dare shots and he knocked him down. So, there's gonna be some openings. Those guys made their plays, made their shots. The biggest thing for me was our transition defense was just awful, and that's the game. That's the number one priority when you play Toronto. You have to take care of their transition, and we gave up 24 fast break points. We turned it over 17 times, so that's the game, really. The other stuff, guys are going to make shots, miss shots. They're going to have good games. They're going to have bad games, but it's kind of the key points that you can take care of that are the most important, and we didn't take care of that transition.
Last row on the right side to Tim.
Steve, Tim Reynolds with the AP. I know you guys have been through long breaks before, and with all credit to the Raptors defense, of course. Did you feel like rust was in any way a factor for you guys tonight, not playing for a week and a half?
It doesn't matter one way or the other. So if we had won, the story would have been that we were well rested. So, but we lost, so we were rusty. So it doesn't matter.
Anthony, go ahead. Right side.
Anthony Sider with The Athletic. What did you think of DeMarcus in his first game back?
So that is Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. You heard what he said about Pascal Siakam. He was brilliant. Spicy P, bringing it. Now, here is my doppelganger, Nick Nurse, with his comments after the game.
Obviously, Pascal had a big offensive night. I thought he played with really good composure, right? He got to his spots and got on balance and was patient. And when he needed to go quick and get around him, he did as well. And he had a couple of real tough ones go in for him as well.
So that is Nick Nurse speaking at the end of the game, also extolling the virtues of a certain Pascal Siakam, who really lit it up tonight, and Jamie Terwell is waiting.
Green but certainly better than he has been in the Milwaukee.
And a couple of late trays that absolutely sealed it. I want to talk about Drake, because I did notice when we were in just watching courtside that the officials were actually speaking to Drake a couple times during the timeouts, and I don't know if they were getting autographs. I don't know about that, but did you see what he was wearing? And I thought this was so amazing. He wore to the game tonight an autographed Del Curry jersey. And I said this before the game, there's only one Curry jersey that you should be allowed to wear into this stadium on game one, And Drake wore the right one.
He did. And you got to give him props for wearing it. You know, you got to love Drake for doing that. And you got to give Steph Curry some credit as well. He came to the defense of Drake. A lot of people are dumping on Drake for some of the antics he's showing on the sidelines. And Steph Curry came to his defense and said, you know what, the guy's having fun. And in this day and age, you got to let people have a little bit of fun. And hey, you know what? The NBA did reach out to Drake and said, you got to tone it down a bit for this series. I think we saw a bit of that tonight.
Yeah, you didn't see quite the same kind of antics from him as we've seen in the past. And interesting, on Global News Radio earlier today, we were talking to JYD, to Jerome Williams, and what he was saying was that you poke the bear at your own peril. And remember, Spike Lee did that famously to Reggie Miller, and then Reggie Miller just torched the Knicks. So I think maybe it might be good not to poke at Steph Curry too much.
Absolutely. He was money tonight at times from three-point range. You know, being in the Western Conference, we don't get an opportunity to see Steph Curry play as much as perhaps we'd like to, because he is just magic from beyond the arc. He sunk a couple of threes tonight that for most players would have been extremely difficult, and he did it with ease.
And what he can also do, which is crazy, and this is how Marc Gasol fouled out of the game, was that he just pulls up and stops and elevates, and then he causes a foul, and the next thing you know, he's shooting 3 free throws, and he is money from the stripe.
You see my shirt?
I do. You're rocking a Gasol there. I like that.
Rocking a Gasol. To be honest with you, and I don't not to rain on the parade at all.
Yeah.
He's the only one left at Real Sports Apparel. Everything else was gone. But hey, it was $46, and you know, it was a heck of an experience. I had to get something to wear, because being amongst the fans tonight in Jurassic Park was something else.
It really was. It was great to be down here tonight, and great to see this crowd. It's so enthusiastic, and there was, you know, music and just so much energy here all night long.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this fan base, you know, I was just having an interview with Charles Adler in one of our sister stations, and he was saying, you know, do you see this from Leaf fans? And I gotta say, Alan, I don't. I mean, this fan base, the Raptor fan base, is extremely passionate. I mean, they were absolutely going bonkers once they were led into Jurassic Park. Some entertainment was going on leading up to the game, but when the game was on, it was almost as if they were quiet, right? Just watching until the Raptors scored, of course, then they went nuts again. But the attentiveness of this fan base, the passion of this fan base, I think the Raptors are really feeding off that energy in this series.
You know, I talked during our supper hour newscast how about back in 1995 when they launched this franchise, there were the doubters, there were the naysayers who said this is a hockey town, it'll never take. And look where we are now. And I felt that same way this week when I heard American media and the majority of sports media throughout North America say the Warriors have this in the bag. And I think tonight, this town, this city, and this team has sent a wake-up call to the league and to the sports world.
They said the same thing about Philly. They said the same thing about Milwaukee. And look where those teams are right now, on the links, because the Toronto Raptors have proven that they can hang with anybody in this league. And you're right, they just did it again tonight.
And just so great to see Kawhi in there just doing what he does. No show of emotion, just pure money, just muscle and monster-like underneath the rim.
I got a chance to go to Media Day yesterday. And, you know, maybe this is a good thing that I don't cover the NBA as often as I do. Because
Jamie, I just want to hold you for there. I think we have Marc Gasol in front of the mic right now. We're just going to go inside, back inside to the Scotiabank now and listen to Marc Gasol.
Him to perform on the stage that well.
He does a great job of attacking those gaps, using his body, attacking the angles that the defense is giving you. He can go both ways. I just like when he plays that aggressive.
But given his improbable background and his lack of experience in this game,
that's not important. Like you playing a game of basketball, you know, whatever happened in the past happened. You know, I think having the mindset of going for it and knowing that it's going to be okay, your teammates have your back, your teammates believe in you. That's all that matters, and he knows that.
4 rows back in the middle to Kayla.
Mark, Kayla Gray, TSN. I mean, you've always been one to look for an extra pass, but in this game, you're a little bit more comfortable with going for that 3, and a lot of the other guys as well. Was there something that opened up for you guys? Maybe extra passes that opened things up in terms of good looks? It seemed as though that worked for you guys on offense.
Well, they were blitzing Kawhi on a pick and roll and allowing, you know, the middle of the floor open, or they were switching early on the offense, and we did a good job of moving that ball and finding. I still think we can do a better job on it, but that was good enough. I still think that we can do a much better job defensively than we did tonight on stretches. I thought the second half we improved our rebounding, and we didn't allow, I think, as many second chance points as we did in the first half. So overall, happy.
Left side, front row, Steve.
Steve Ashburn at NBA.com.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr labeled them as dare shots, opportunities you had where they didn't rotate to you and you had basically uncontested shots. Do they feel like you're being dared to make those kind of shots? And how does making those versus not making those early in a game affect your game as it goes on?
If you open, you got to shoot them. There, no there. Like you open, you shoot them. And then we go from there. If they go in, great. If not, you keep taking them with confidence.
Right side, fifth row. Dan.
Hey, Mark. Dan Wecke with the Los Angeles Times.
That is Marc Gasol speaking post-game after the Raptors take it, game one. And I tell you what, you know who enjoyed this game a lot? These guys. So great to see former Raptor players, Muggsy Bogues, JYD, Damon Stoudemire, you name it, they were here. Chris Bosh was here. So great to see all of those former Raptor players and to hear the big cheers that went up from this crowd that is so appreciative of all of the players that have brought us to this point where we can say we are up one game in the 2019 NBA Finals. Go Raptors! We'll see you soon.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Slicing down the lane. I was trying to get it on my own. Working all night, traffic on the way home, and my uncle calling me like, where you at? I gave you the keys, so you bring it right back. I just think it's funny how it goes.
The Toronto Raptors are headed to their